Hey there, folks. One of the things you've seen me kind of dig into over the last 2 or 3 weeks is I really think most real estate markets are almost bipolar. One portion of the market is what I call dead, and the other market is actually surprisingly hot. So we are going to talk to a top 1% agent in King County, actually top 1% agent in the country who services King County, and we are going to do this in real time. How you doing, Beth?
Hi, I'm doing great, Mike. So nice to be back here.
Yes, yes, we missed you last week. The audience was actually I've got several notes. Where was Beth?
Oh,
So
did you? Oh,
I
well,
did,
that
yeah.
makes me feel more nice and warm inside. Good to see. I miss you all too, so it's nice to
There
be
you go.
here.
So we're going to do this in real time. You had a little bit of time to prepare just so we can do this. We don't know the results yet. We're going to do a search. We're going to go for active and pending at 3 different price points for all of King County. So my
Yeah.
first question for you, Beth, is what do you consider the median home price for King County?
Median is right around 800 for the whole county. It varies a lot, of course, from
That's
different
okay. We're
segments, but
that's good enough.
overall,
800 grand.
yeah.
So the first thing I would like you to do is I would love to look single family homes only. What is the actives only
Mm-hmm.
for 1.6 and above?
Okay.
So that is my
We're doing a live
2x.
look here. So we've got 431 active at
Again, 4
1.6 or
or
higher.
above,
Yeah.
single family homes only.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do the full list. So now what we will do is we will do same criteria except price point is 800 to 1.6.
Okay. 655.
And now what we will do is obviously 800K and below.
Yeah. So I see where you're going with your 3 tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 710.
Oh, okay. All right. So again, 710 below the median,
Mm-hmm.
65, 655 in the kind of move up market, and then 431 luxury. And again, I'm artificially calling luxury 2x the median. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's not exactly how I would personally define it, but I see where it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I'm trying to make it
Yeah.
consistent so anybody, any
Mhm.
agent in any city could do the
Yeah.
same thing. Okay.
Yep.
So now what I want you to do is basically the same criteria, except active. I want it to be pending, or maybe you could also select accepting backups or something like
Yeah.
that pending status.
Right. We call it pending inspection. And so, or pending. So I'll do pending inspection and pending.
Yep.
And we'll do 1.6 and
And
above,
correct. What is it?
145.
Okay. So same criteria, except now 800 to 1.6.
Yeah. I like this. We're learning together.
There you
See,
go.
I usually look at things much more niche down than this bigger lens. But 455.
Okay. And now 800 and below.
Yeah. 633.
Okay. So again, this is your market's a little different, but every market is different. People, please do this. But here's the deal. Luxury in King County, again, as I've defined it, not you, is roughly speaking 3.5 months supply. Looking at first time homebuyer homes, it's barely 1 month. Move up only slightly better at probably 1.1, 1.2 months supply. So even in King County, which I didn't know what we were going to see, your
Mm-hmm.
luxury is in a very different state than first time home buyer homes. Does that feel
Yes.
about right?
And I think that's fair enough it's always like that to some extent because it's always going to be a smaller buyer pool purchasing luxury or the
Well, you
higher
know what?
end.
But I want to push back on that a little bit because yes, you're talking about the buyer side, but I actually think what's going on today in luxury is you're stacking up days on market, so inventory is building.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. There's a very small buyer's pool, but I think luxury is um, maybe there's more sellers. Maybe they got laid off or they want to go out of the state. So I think it's actually
Mhm.
double pain, right? You got a little bit more suppliers because of what's going on, and the buyers are retreating because they're nervous
You're
and the,
right because so how I was looking at luxury just recently, it's in my area. I look at like 2.5 million and up. To me, that's more of a luxury price
so
point on the east
3x.
side. On the east side, because east side is a higher
Oh, okay.
um median. It's about 1.3.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
when I
yeah.
was looking in my area, okay, so then our higher end tends to be around 2.5 and up.
So that's the same thing. That's 2x, right? Take your
Exactly.
box.
Just different buy boxers, if you will. But yeah, and I was seeing that in 2020 and 20 once the pandemic hit, the days on market went down to about 4. And
That's nuts. That
before
is
that, they were as
nuts.
high as 80. Days were as high as 80. The highest days on market was around 2019. For a while, the market really did flip to a buyer's market for a little while there. And we saw days on market for that price tier all the way up to 80. And then it just plummeted down to about 4. Just like everything, it just got turned upside down. Nothing made any sense. And it just was just bananas for a while there. And now we're at about 24 or so at that price point for days
And
on
going
market.
higher. And going
Yeah,
higher.
and going higher, because I'm seeing a lot of them that are taking several months. It's especially once you get over 3 million and definitely over 4 million, then it can take 6 months sometimes for a house to sell. You're looking for a very specific buyer, and those buyers have a lot of choices, and they don't usually have to buy a house. They usually already have a house. It's just fine. They have their choice of any number of houses, so they're taking their time to
Mhm.
look and look again. I have a listing that's at a higher price point right now, where one buyer in particular has been there, I think, 7 times, and they're coming back, they're considering, they're reconsidering, they're going back and reevaluating their options, bringing in their team to evaluate things, so yeah, I am seeing that. And on the lower price point, the first time home buyer price point, we're not, it's not like that. It's moving a lot more quickly.
Yeah,
And
and
the
that's
inventory is it's cycling faster, and there's fewer. And what I'm seeing is in the last 7 days, there's been, usually we start to see a bit of, in my area, we start to see a little bit of an uptick in new listing inventory by the time we get to the end of January. People have gotten past the holidays and they're putting their houses on the market. I have yet to see that. I haven't seen
oh,
almost nothing has come on the market. There's twice as many in my East Side buy box. There's been twice as many pendings as there have been new listings that have come on in our area.
listings are dropping, right? New listings are dropping. I think they're down 18 or 20%.
Yeah.
That's national, right? So it's
Absolutely seeing
it's
that here too. And that's definitely impacting things. And I think we're starting to see it's a little more urgency out there. It's not everywhere, but I'm hearing when I'm talking to other brokers around in the city of Seattle specifically, and some of the areas to the north and south that tend to be a little more first time home buyer friendly, that we're seeing bidding wars coming back on a lot of those
yeah.
houses.
Well, of
I have
course,
not.
it's 1 month's
Yeah.
supply. Of course, you're gonna
How
have
could
bidding
it not
wars.
be? The fresh new inventory that gets people excited, people are jumping in. And as soon as that starts to become commonplace, then that will shift the psychology, and people will go from thinking that they have all the time in the world to jumping right in. If it's, and I'm even seeing it on some older listings too, where houses have been on the market 100 days plus. All of a sudden, there's multiple offers. So,
Yeah, I've heard that from across the country.
mhm,
We've seen interest rates go down 1.5%. There's a general feeling that maybe we won't have a recession. The consumer psychology is improving, right? It kind of bottomed at the end of the year. It's kind of wild to watch. Back to your market, right? Again, using my definition, 800K, 1.6 and
mhm.
above. Is it fair to say that the large price cuts are occurring in the luxury segment and not in the first time home buyer arena?
Correct. Yeah. So a typical price drop in a higher end, I'm not talking the super luxury where it needs to be 100 to $200,000 price drop to make any difference. In the about 1.5 million, people would do 50,000 price
Sure.
drop and then expect to get an offer probably 50,000 under that.
Right. Right. But we're not seeing, because again, I think a lot of the numbers are being distorted and most investors and most home buyers are not paying attention. Days on market are rising. You just talked about it, right? Up from 4 to 26. A lot of that's because the luxury listings are higher percentage of active listings, right? Nationally speaking, Beth, we have 970,000, roughly speaking, active listings, homes. Of that, 160, it's estimated, are what I call luxury home, 160,000. That's more than 20% of the market, or almost 20% of the market.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No,
That's not normal.
they're not. Yeah. The longer market time, fewer fewer sales. It's just bound to happen that it's going to, the inventory is going to accumulate.
And then when you flip it over and you look at first-time homebuyer homes, like for example, like when you pulled up the $800,000 homes and below, if you were to scan it quickly, what percent of those have had any kind of price drop? 10K, 5K? Are we thinking half? Very few? What do you think?
I would say maybe half, just kind of thinking about the county as a whole, which is a huge area. So
Sure.
in my area, I would say it's probably about half. But then, yeah,
And,
so it's the old inventory basically that
sure.
has had price drops.
And the price drops again, they're not 50K or 100K, they're 10K.
Yeah, or 25 or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So, rounding into January, with something you've told my channel again, you have an amazing playlist. It's called Beth. It's a really fancy playlist name. Anyways, that in January, usually you have more inventory. You've already told us that hasn't happened as of yet. But what about demand? So demand has picked up, open houses,
Demand has
offers.
surged, and all the chatter I'm hearing in all my broker groups and just anecdotally is that, and what I'm seeing myself in our own open houses and others, is that, yeah, the interest and the activity has surged. I'm seeing far more showings, far more. I know I'm in the zone with a listing when we're getting showings. People are requesting inspection reports and things like that, and my phone is ringing with brokers asking questions. When I get those three things going, I know, like, okay, we're in the zone. Something's going to
Yeah,
happen
we're
here.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's firing on all of them basically. And I've got a kind of a nice balance of different types of listings right now. But yeah, you're right. The first time in my little area where I am, there's nothing for sale for first time buyers right now, except for some just garbage,
Really
overpriced
garbage,
you know, that everyone's just ignoring. But you know, there's the buyers out there are starving for it, and they're just waiting for something to come on. And they're I think what we're going to see is that I don't think we're going to see crazy price. I mean, we're seeing some bidding wars, but I'm not, even on those, I'm
Yeah.
not hearing that it's going hundreds of thousands of dollars over. I just don't.
It's not
I
healthy.
honestly don't. I'm not like one of those agents that wants that to happen, because I don't think that that's healthy for the market. I love a nice balanced market where we are. Actually, where we are right now is pretty darn good as far as being balanced. Buyers have a good chance of getting a decent offer accepted with terms that are acceptable
They
to
can have an inspection,
everybody.
right? They
Yeah,
can
they can
protect
have an
themselves.
inspection, they can get an
Yeah.
appraisal, and they don't have to come up with
Yeah.
the gap themselves for the 200,000 they paid over list price, and all, you know, all these things that they had to do, that now it's back to just good old fashioned real estate. And I like that a lot. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good time for buyers, and decent for sellers too, as long as they're realistic about things, you
Yeah.
know, and a lot of sellers are buyers too. So
Yeah.
they'll
It's a lot
benefit
of
on the
fun.
buying side.
Well, if somebody's buying and selling in King County, or if they just wanted to network and follow you, where would they do that?
Yeah, so you can find me, you can reach out to me on my website, bethtraversogroup.com, or just reach out to me on social media. I'm everywhere, just my name, Beth Traverso.
Thank you so much.